All right, good afternoon, everybody. Luis Morales here, health fitness specialist with Exos at Autodesk, 3 p.m. Monday afternoon here on Pacific time, Northern California. It's nice and sunny. Good time to break away from the desk, get a little movement in. So before we get started, go ahead and drop anything in the chat that you guys feel needs a little bit of extra love today, a little bit of extra stretching, what I got on the menu for us today, a little bit of hamstring back stretching, a little bit of hip flexor stretching, new version of the hip flexor stretch, lateral squat stuff for the quads, adductors, what we got? Hip flexors and piriformis. Yeah, I can do some piriformis. All right. All right, guys. So as we get started, you guys might see me moving a little more gingerly around, and that's because I crashed my mountain bike this weekend, so I'm a bit bruised, but we'll be moving fine throughout this one. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to stay standing or start standing. And what we're going to do is do a little bit of forward fold action. So planting those feet about shoulder width apart, or maybe a little bit more narrow. What we're gonna do is push those hips back, try and reach down towards the ground here, and just let ourselves hang out. Try not to hold your breath in this position. We're trying to push those hips back, keep the knees nice and locked out. You can hang that head, get a little bit of extra stretch in there. All right. Totally okay, guys, if you can't reach the ground here. If you can't reach the ground, go ahead and bend your knees now so those fingertips can touch the ground. And even if you can, go ahead and bend the knees just a little bit. What we're going to do here now is we're going to move at the knees. So we're going to keep our hands connected to the ground. And what we'll do now is we'll straighten out those knees. Try and do the best you can. We're just going to bend and straighten nice and soft. Might be feeling some hamstring stretch or maybe some low back stretch here, maybe even some calf stretch. But the point is to get those hands to the ground, and then we'll see how far we can bend or straighten the knees to get to kind of where we want to be with those legs locked out and those fingertips still on the ground. Just going back and forth here, guys. And if you can't straighten the legs out today, don't worry. It will eventually come. Breathe as we go. All right, last two here. Bend, big straighten. Bend one last time. Straighten it out. Beautiful. All right, let's slowly roll ourselves up. One vertebra at a time. Head, neck, and shoulders, last thing to come up. Okay, brand new kind of variation of the hip flexor stretch here today, guys. So what we're gonna need for this one is either a chair, a couch, a footstool, just a slightly elevated surface, anything kind of around or above knee level will work out. So what I'm gonna do is drag this footstool into the picture here. You guys can use a couch, a chair, office chair, as long as it's not too unstable. And what we're going to do is a nice little standing hip flexor stretch. So in the past, we've been on the ground, kind of in a kneeling position, but this is a good way to get one in if you are in a space where you basically can't do that, or you've hurt your knee like me and it's not too comfortable. So let's go ahead and place one foot up on your surface. And from here, what we can do is slide that foot on the ground back just a little bit. And now we're in a similar position to where we were on the ground in that kneeling position. So we'll go through that same checklist now. We got to squeeze that glute of the leg that's on the ground super, super hard. We can find our core muscles, push our hips forward just a little bit, trying to find that tension. You might have to bend the knee a little bit more than you usually do, but we want to stay squeezed in the glute. Once we can find that tension, we're reaching up with that same side arm, maybe leaning away from that stretched hip. So once we can find that tension, we're just breathing. Keep that glute squeeze. That glute is the key to success here, guys. Good job. All right, let's get one more breath in. Good. All right, slowly bring that arm down, recenter yourself. You can bring that foot down. Now we'll do the other side. So getting that other foot up onto your elevated surface. Now, a key tip here, the more elevated your surface is in front, the more stretch you're probably going to get in that hip, the less adjusting or pushing the hip forward that you might need to do, depending on how loose or tight you are. All right, same deal. Let's squeeze the glute of that same side leg that's on the ground, push the hips forward a little bit if we need to, keep that tummy nice and tight, then we can raise the arm up, find that kind of full body tension, and breathe into that stretch. Good job, you guys. Good job. Keep that glute squeezed. Might need to keep a hand on it to check in on it, but keep that glute squeezed. All right, one more big breath. Nicely done, you guys. Bring that arm down slowly. Come out of that position. All right. Next up, let's spread those feet nice and wide. We're gonna get a nice little active adductor stretch in here. So with the feet wider than shoulder width, not the widest stance ever, but wider than shoulder width with the toes pointing forward, what we're gonna do is just a couple lateral squats. So with that right leg, let's go ahead and bend that right knee, push the hips back, load up on that right leg, and we wanna keep the heel, big toe, and little toe of that left foot nice and flat on the ground. We should be feeling some inner thigh stretch here by now. You may need to sink a little deeper in order to feel it. Let's hold it, one breath, and then push away with that right leg, come back to center. All right, same deal, other side. Bend that left side, push the hips back as much as you need to find that adductor stretch. Take a breath or two, check in, make sure that core is nice and tight, and then let's push away from the ground with that left foot. All right, one more on each side, and we'll finally finish off with some piriformis stretching. All right, again, we're loading up that right leg, knee bent, hip back, chest up. Let me see the logo on your shirt. We're stretching the inside of that left leg. All right, let's push away. One more time on that left side. Pushing the hips back, pushing that knee over the middle of the foot, feeling that stretch right inside thigh here. Good job, guys. Good job. One more breath. All right, push away from the ground there. Beautiful. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and finish off on the ground. Let's make our way down to the ground here. All right, so when we're on the ground, let's go ahead and get onto our backs here. What we're gonna do is bring that left ankle. We're gonna start with that left ankle all the way on top of that left knee. Now, for some of you, this might already be a stretch. If you wanna grab onto that knee and pull it up towards the right shoulder, that might also give you a nice, comfortable piriformis stretch. But we're gonna go for the figure four. So this might be a little more intense for some of you. Do what you can. So with the left ankle resting on top of the right knee, we're gonna go ahead and elevate that right leg. I'm gonna reach through and interlace my fingers behind my right quad. And the closer I pull my right leg in, the more stretch I'm gonna get on that outer left hip. So find a comfortable medium spot here, guys. Once you do, we're just gonna breathe. Good job, you guys, good job. Medium stretch here, that's all we're going for. All right, one last inhale. One last long exhale. Let's slowly release that leg. Right foot comes to the ground, left foot comes to the ground. Let's switch it over. So right ankle is going to rest on top of that left knee. We're going to elevate that left leg, interlacing those fingers behind that left quad. The closer we pull that left leg in, the more stretch we're going to get on that outer right hip. So again, find your sweet spot, find what's working today for you, and then let's breathe into that tension. Good job, guys. Feel free to close your eyes, relax. Be one with the stretch for a second. One more breath. Good. On that exhale, we can slowly release those legs. Bring those feet down to the ground. You guys can come up into sitting, kneeling, or standing, whatever is most comfortable for you. But that is all the time I have left for this stretch break here today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Don't forget, we do have another group exercise class today. Abs and Core / Mobility Monday with Brittany at 5 p.m. Right, Brittany? 5 p.m.? That's what I thought. Awesome. Yeah, don't miss out on that class. I think I'm going to attend myself, get some mobility and some abs and core in. Hope to see you guys there later. Check out our Slack and SharePoint site if you're trying to find out more about what we have going on as of late. All right, you guys, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.